Hello guys, back at it again with another reactions video. My name is Angel. Today I'm going to be reacting to the greatest individual scoring game in NBA history. Now before watching the video, let me know who you think it is, who had the greatest scoring game in NBA history. And after the video, let me know if you were correct or not. The one game that comes to mind for me, for all the games that I've watched, it's probably like KobeBryant against the Mavericks. I forgot what year it was, but he outscored them in 3 quarters. That's the game that I would think. You know, he never played the fourth quarter, so we never got to see what he would have got. But that's the game that comes to mind for me. Let me know what you guys think. And with all that said, let's get to the video.
Course of NBA history, there have been a myriad of preposterous scoring outbursts. Of course, there was Wilt Chamberlain's mythical 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania, way back in 1962.
Do you guys know anybody that watched Wilt Chamberlain or that could possibly confirm that? I know there's a lot of like myths, rumors, and stuff. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? Did he actually score 100 points that game? Was it legit?
MichaelJordan's 69-point and 18-rebound masterpiece in an overtime thriller against the Cavaliers in 1990. And hell, we even most recently saw two 71-point games this most recent NBA season within about a 7-week span of each other. And of course, there was the second most points ever scored in a single game.
Yeah, that game was crazy.
History. KobeBryant's legendary 81 points as the exclamation mark on that absurd season-long scoring explosion he authored back in the 2005-2006 season. And that season has been well documented. From that aforementioned 81-pointer against the Raptors, to Kobe averaging an absurd 43 points for an entire month, and doing all of it in the fourth slowest paced season in NBA history, where average nightly scoring was only 97 per game. For context, scoring was up to nearly 115 points per game in this most recent season. But a game that is often overlooked and forgotten about amid the absurdity of Kobe's 2005-2006 year, as well as all of the other legendary scoring performances we have seen throughout history, occurred on December 20th of 2005. When the Dallas Mavericks came to Staples Center for a matchup against
I think it was like
Lakers, a Mavericks team end the season with a record of 60-22, the third best record in the NBA that year, and the Mavericks.
So he did that against the team that was not a cheap team. Top 3 in the West. And the West back then was like favored to win every NBA Finals. That's crazy.
Behind Dirk Nowitzki would get all the way into the NBA Finals that season before ultimately falling 4-2 to the Miami Heat. The Lakers, on the other hand,
P-Wade turned up.
Not good. Boasting a lineup that season which included Lamar Odom, Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, Devin George, Luke Walton, Brian Cook, and Sasha Vujacic.
Okay, that's a very bad team. And the Lakers wasted a couple of Kobe's prime years, mind you, before they end up getting, better players. But damn, who had a worse team than that? That's crazy. I don't even think they made the playoffs that year. It's blasphemous.
The Lakers had not one rotational player that year who ever made a single All-Star game.
It was a rookie.
Bryant would have killed to have Zydrunas Ilgauskas
that's what I'm saying.
Williams on this roster. With Kobe off,
people like bash their names, and I get it. They're not like amazing players or whatever, but like Zydrunas Ilgauskas, double-digit scoring and probably give you at least 7 rebounds. Kwame Brown, you're getting like maybe 6 points and maybe 5 rebounds. I'm not even sure. And he got Smush Parker, and this guy has Mo Williams. If I recall, Mo Williams used to be an all-star. So, like, people that bash some of LeBron's teammates, it's kind of ridiculous, compared to what Kobe had that year. Not even close.
of the court in the 2005-2006 season, the Lakers scored only 92 points per 100 possessions.
Sheesh.
The worst offensive rated team in the league that season scored 101 points per 100 possessions. So to say the Lakers were below not good,
below not good at all in any of those areas, see?
without KobeBryant would be the understatement of the season that year in the NBA. But on December
didn't have Kobe?
20th, when the eventual conference champions came to town, Bryant produced a game that had never been seen before in NBA history, has not been duplicated since, and likely will never be seen ever again. Kobe poured in 62 points through 3 quarters in just 32 minutes of game played and on only 31 shot attempts. Bryant outscored the entire 60-win Maverick team by himself through the end of the third quarter. No one in the shot clock era's history of professional basketball has ever equaled this feat. Not even Wilt Chamberlain. Not even in the 1961-62 season when Chamberlain averaged 50 for the entire year. Not Jordan. Not Durant. Definitely not this guy. No one ever. Which, can you imagine what would happen if LeBron did this? It would literally break ESPN with the amount of thirsty
what's going on here?
tripping over each other to drool on themselves on live TV. And Kobe did it all on this floating dumpster fire of a roster against a 60-win.
He had, oh my goodness. What is that? You got Brian Cook on the right, Slava Medvedenko, I want to say. Smush Parker. I do not know who's next to Smush Parker. You got Sasha, who's young at that time. Kwame Brown, Andrew Bynum, probably in his rookie year, so he wasn't really that great. Luke Walton. I mean, come on, guys. You have Kobe, Chris Mim, and you're like, oh. That's Pargo, number 11, and then you got Lamar Odom, who's good. And you got Ronnie Turioff, who was just a hype man. That guy, I don't want to say it's McKee. He used to play for the Sixers, maybe, or something. And then you got Devin George. Like, kind of fucking rosters that, like, who assembled this shit? Man, they wasted Kobe's amazing season. Couple of them. That's sad. And he's to drop the points that he did. I would have averaged like he should have took like 35 shots a game, man, with that roster.
Conference champion Chris Mim, with 9 points, was the Lakers' second leading scorer in that game, following a 3-quarter-long 62-point assault of the Mavericks, which likely should have been deemed illegal in the state of California. When the smoke cleared and the dust settled, the Mavericks team had only 61 points. Now many would point to Wilt's 100 piece on March 2nd of 1962 in Hershey, Pennsylvania, as the golden standard for an individual scoring game. However, look at the outrageous pacing of that game when Wilt's Philadelphia Warriors beat the New York Knicks 169-147. The final score of that Lakers-Mavericks game was just 112-90. Further, Wilt had some extreme advantages in this game. For starters, the opposing center for the New York Knicks, Daryl Imhoff, was listed at just 6'10", 220 pounds, out there looking like a 1960s precursor for walking skeleton figure Chet Holmgren. 7'1", 275-pound freak mutant athlete WiltChamberlain
he was ahead of his time.
Likely would have feasted that night even if Imhoff had played the whole game, which he didn't, as he logged only 20 minutes in that game. The backup center for the Knicks was Dave Budd, at just 6'6", 205 pounds, who got 27 minutes of time guarding Wilt in that game, while the other principal defender that night was power forward Willie Knowles, who was just 6'6", 225. Not only was arguably the strongest player in NBA history playing against the modern-day equivalent of shooting guards on defense. There was also no 3-second violation at this time in the NBA, so Wilt could just
That's a big
camp out
advantage
underneath and feast on offensive rebounds and putbacks, as the vast majority of his 63 shot attempts that game came within 3 feet of the basket.
Like, can you just imagine Shaq being in the paint the whole game? How much points he would have averaged? Like, that puts a lot of insight. I didn't realize that they didn't have that rule already set in. It makes sense that it wasn't. You know, as the years go on, the league develops and the rules become more fair. And I'm assuming they changed that rule specifically 3 seconds in the key because probably Wilt Chamberlain was just dominating in the inside, and it was just ridiculous, and nobody can guard him and match him. But yeah, I mean, imagine like the Tim Duncan, you know, Hakeem Olajuwon, like no 3 seconds in the key, like damn, those stats would have been super inflated and crazy. That's pretty good insight on that.
Even looking at the other gold standard alongside Wilt for individual scoring prowess, MichaelJordan, and his signature 69-point career-high game. That was an overtime game where Jordan played 50 minutes. And his next highest scoring game was a 64-point performance in a loss against the Orlando Magic on January 16th of 1993 when he played 47 minutes. But in just 32 minutes of play, and at the end of the third quarter, with the Lakers leading 95-61 in the game, Kobe decided to shut it down for the night. Phil Jackson sent then assistant coach Brian Shaw to ask if Kobe wanted back in the game to try to set some kind of a scoring record, to which Kobe responded that the objective was to win the game, and the game was already over. So,
you see what I mean? Like, if Kobe was actually a stat pattern like most of the players in the NBA today, his stats would be crazy. You know, you would have to add a lot of, like, dude, he played to win the game. He played to win the NBA Finals. He didn't care about anything else. Stats aside, he didn't care about anything else. You know, if he did, he would probably be his stats would be like so freaking high, on top of the fact that he didn't get a chance to, you know, play early in his career and was held back a lot. I think for like the first 3 years. You know, so people that say stats, like, sure, stats tell you a thing, but it only tells you one part of the game. It doesn't tell you the other part of everything else. You know, you got to watch the footage to see how great these players really were, and how a lot of players get overlooked, especially in the past.
So Bryant's night came to an end in only those 32 minutes. 14 games later, however, Kobe would have another look at history, and he would capitalize on that one. That, however, is a story for another day.
All right, guys, that concludes that video. Turned out to be a KobeBryant video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were. If you like the content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And what is the greatest NBA scoring game you have ever witnessed on television or in person? I would like to hear those stories. With all that said, see you on the next video.